Woo! Now that I was full, I decided to go visit the Scarlet Devil Mansion. I wasn't really up for serious research, but I did want to check out some other books. You can't have too many books, especially if most of them weren't actually yours. After all, if they don't belong to you, they aren't really your property. And if they aren't your property, I would suggest not taking their shit. That is my advice. But I highly doubt after 20 years or so. Has it been 20 years? Something like that. Yeah, after 20 years or so, you're not gonna really listen to shit. So, you know what? Whatever. Stop right there. Do we really have to fight today? I'm here all the time and it always turns out the same way. Fight you? I don't want to fight you. I just wanted to know if it's true you were playing with the younger sister the other day. Why, yes I was. Yeah, I thought she could use some company from time to time, you know. Well, I'm glad someone will. She could probably use some contact with people who aren't Patchouli and Sakya. Well, anyway, are you here to play with her again today? Nah, I think I'm just gonna go steal some books. I don't feel like stopping my workout routine to fight you today. If Patchouli objects, she can deal with it. Damn! Meiling's like, fuck that, man. I got a workout, man. I got some bods to build, man. Ladies impressed, man. You can deal with that shit. Patchouli, fuck you, man. You deal your shit. Oh, good old Meiling. How in the world does she get paid? Granted, I don't think she could ever stop me if she tried anyways, but you know. Actually, Patchouli had probably pulled some prank on her recently, like that little flower experiment. This supposed to be how Meiling's getting revenge. What I think what Marissa's referring to is back in Bohemian, I think it was in Meiling's article where like the SDM had like a bunch of flowers and then it was kind of burned or something like that, I believe. It's been a while since I did research on Bohemian, given that that was most of my beginning episodes started with Bohemian. But yeah, I think that's what she's referring to in terms of canon work. Although, I gotta say, it's gotta be kinda boring to go right back to reading books after playing with the little mistress. Some dusty old tomes can't be as exciting as an energetic vampire girl, can they? Now, you got a point there. It's not as entertaining, but it is certainly more safer to deal with books than a vampire that has the power to fucking destroy anything you want. And I kinda made a video already talking about that in my Touhou talk / theory number 3. So yeah, you kinda know how deadly Flandre is. So yeah, it's much safer to deal with books. I honestly had no answer for that, so I just shrugged and kept walking. Meiling shrugged back and stepped away from the gate. As I passed, I saw her launch into what appeared to be a flurry of punches and kicks into a rhythmic manner. I suppose she must have been practicing kate or something. Once I got to the library, I found a nice book to read and sat down. The Facto's Handbook. I've been looking around for a copy for a while, and finally I managed to coax Kokuma into finding me Patchouli's copy. Yawn. For some reason today, the inner political workings of a magical city that no longer exists really wasn't all that interesting. I was finding it hard to focus on the words on the page. Some dusty old tomes can't be as exciting as oh yeah, just repeat. It looks like Meiling was right. I just didn't really want to spend all day sitting around reading about a city that might or might not exist anymore. I sat up, put the book down, and headed off to find Flandre. Not surprisingly, I found Flandre in her room in the basement. This had to be the single most disturbing room in the entire mansion. Strange crystalline structures hang from the ceiling like mobiles. Various bits and pieces of destroyed toys litter the ground. Unusual, almost non-Eleusinian spires jutted out from the walls and floor. The very geography of the room seemed slightly warped and distorted. A couple of intact stuffed animals sat arranged neatly in a corner, incongruously completing the image of the room. I'm not even gonna try to say that word again. Flandre, of course, sat in the center of the room, on top of a beautiful 4-poster bed. I noticed that she was seated on the exact center of the bed, which was conveniently the exact center of the room. She seemed at the moment to be occupied with drawing on what appeared to be a little drawing slate. She seemed to be drawing little cartoony stick figures of some sort, then systematically erasing them. As I drew closer, I noticed she was singing to herself. One little Indian left all alone. He went and hung himself, and then there were none. Sure, whatever, that's not my deal, but sure. We'll go with that, I walked up closer to Flandre, careful not to startle her, and looked over at her. What you doing? Oh, hi Marissa, I'm drawing pictures. Yeah. What are they pictures of? You seem to have erased all of them. That's because it's a picture of a song that I read in a book once. Big Sis said it made her think about me. Right, and then there were none. The song that featured prominently in it. Flandre uses it for spell cards too. So, did you come to play? Yep, I decided I didn't feel like sitting still today. Oh, what shall we play? Well, we played Tamako last time. Let's do something easier on the furniture this time. Oh, I know. We can play hide and seek. Sure. Who's hiding and who's seeking? Against my better judgment, I said, I'll hide, you seek. Close your eyes and count to, let's go with 666. Why not? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 666. Let's do this. I dashed off into the mansion looking for a good place to hide. Running down the halls, I began my search. Behind some curtains? No, you can see my feet. Inside this piano? No, the instinct to move unbusted. Maybe on a shelf? Nah, Flandre can fly just as easy as I can. Perhaps in this room. I attempted to open the door, only to discover the door was locked. That was great. No one would think to look inside if the door was normally locked. I pressed my ears against the doorknob and I pulled a couple of hairpins from my braid. Let's see, this lock didn't seem too difficult to pick. 1, 2, and 3. Fallout style. With a satisfying sneak, the tumblers of the lock clicked into place and the door opened. I put the hairpins back in my hair and went inside. Inside the room there was a simple bed, a closet, and a simple dresser. Dresser. Now the thing is, we don't really know whose room this is. Seems simple, so it could be either Sakya's or a fairy or something. I guess dresser for now. Maybe they'll give us a good indication on one who owns the room. If we go in dresser, maybe we see maid clothes. Again, that could be fairies, but it's a good chance to Sakya based on size. I opened up the dresser and climbed inside. Luckily, I could fit inside it fairly easy, so as long as I tucked in my feet. It was pretty dark and musty inside, but also could catch a slight whiff of perfume. Whoever owned this room probably kept her makeup and such in this dresser. I also noticed what appeared to be a garter belt of some sort hanging in the dresser. Wait, was that a hidden knife sheath sewn into the garter? So that's Sakya, definitely. That would mean that this was... The dresser opened. Thankfully, instead of Flandre opening it, the mansion's head maid was standing there. Miss Marissa, what are you doing in my dresser? Shh, I'm hiding from Flandre. I see, you know if you hide from her, it will only reinforce her idea that you are prey, which will. No, we're playing hide and go seek. Oh, I see. Good of you to keep the young mistress entertained. While you're in there, would you mind handing me the bottle of perfume in the drawer next to you? I knew this would give us the hint to the character, but I'm sure any other route would have done the same thing. Sure. I reached next to me and took out a bottle of perfume I'd smelled earlier. I didn't know you liked perfume, Sakya. Of course, it wouldn't do to have the head maid smelling unpleasant, would it? Sakya applied the perfume to her skin and then handed the perfume back to me I placed it where I found it. Even as a magician, I have to say, the experience of helping a vampire's maid with her toilette while hiding in her dresser was a fairly surreal experience. Thank you. Well, I shall leave you and the young mistress to your game. She curtsied politely and shut the dresser door. I heard her leave the room shortly thereafter. A little while later, I heard the door open once again. Marissa, I know you're in here. How in the world did she know where I was? I heard the closet door open, then shut. Where could she be? Then there was no way she could be. I burst out of the dresser to see that Flandre had completely demolished both the small alarm clock that had been sitting on Sakya's nightstand and what appeared to be a small rack of throwing knives. The remains of both were embedded in the nearby walls. Flandre, you can't just go around blowing up other people's things. Yay, worked, I found you. I started pulling fragments of clock and wall knife out of the walls. Oh man, Sakya's going to kill me. I heard a voice behind me right at that moment. Flandre and I both turned to face the maid. I heard an explosion, so I came to check it out, and what do I find? I think both Flandre and I turned the exact shade of white at that point. I think the young mistress and her friend deserve a little timeout, don't you think? I know both Flandre and I had the same idea at that point. Run! Where do the two of you think you're going? How the hell are you gonna run from a girl who can fucking stop time? I'm just saying.